Okay, welcome everyone to our Monday night Team Plant Strong call. We are so excited as always just to invest in you and invest in your business through trainings and tips and different aspects of our amazing Juice Plus franchise. And so tonight, we are really excited because we get to learn about using the Tower Gardens to build your business. And that's something that we recommend. If you're going to build a business with a tower garden, you need to have a tower garden. You need to be familiar with it. But if you're not, tonight is going to be a really great overview. And I'm excited to hear what Heidi has to say because I know that there's so much growth potential through our business beyond the capsules and the shakes and, the things that we're really comfortable with. And we know that the way to get to where you want to go with your business is getting outside of your comfort zone. So I'm going to have Trisha Nelson get on and introduce Heidi since that is her upline, and then we will get started.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay? I'm having internet issues again, so. Okay, so I get to introduce you to my friend Heidi. She lives in Junction City, Kansas, and she is a family and consumer science teacher in Manhattan. She is married and has 3 girls that are age 14, 11, and 4 years old. I met Heidi at my husband's class reunion. Their 20-year class reunion. They're really old. Just kidding, Heidi. I said that because my husband's sitting here. Anyway, she and I became friends on Facebook, and then shortly after that, she inquired about Juice Plus, and she decided to sign up as a member, but she did not do anything with the business side of it right away. But her and her family started on the products, and they saw some amazing changes over the first year of taking the products. And about that time, she had applied for some grants to get some tower gardens into her school. And so that gave her business a great jump start. And then she decided it was time to start doing the business side of things. And she's done really, really awesome. She fast tracked to her HLP and then BF. And now she's working on her fast track to SC. And I'm just super proud of her. She's like really amazing with her knowledge about the tower garden. And she's really quickly growing her tower garden business. So I'm already learning a ton from her, and I know you guys are going to learn a lot as well. So I will go ahead and turn it over to Heidi.
Okay, awesome. So everybody can hear me okay? I'm going to share my screen in just a second. And then I think we will be good to go. So I have some things built in here, and I can share this PowerPoint after we're done, minus a few things that I'll need to take out because one of the slides does have some customer information in it. I'm just going to quickly show you. So tower gardens have been amazing for me in building my business. I went to a conference, and someone else, another tower garden rep, was sharing the tower gardens at our conference, and I thought, whoa, I can do that too. So it was just one of those eye-opening things that, like, why am I not doing this? So here I'm going to show you how, and how easy it is to also, like, move with your tower garden, transport your tower garden, all of that tonight. So ask questions at the end, write them down, or I'll share my emails with you as well. So is this going to move? Maybe not. There we go. So first, in our virtual office, and I just have links in here, I just want to share some resources with you on our virtual office. And you see I'm 100 points from making my qualified, so awesome. I'm excited about that. I'm going to get it done. In forms and resources down here, one of the things.
If you clicked on your virtual office link, you have to actually go up to the tab and click on the tab so we can see that tab if it opened in a new tab.
It did, so I'm going to have to click on that each time?
Yeah, because we're still on virtual office resources PowerPoint.
Okay. Can you see it now?
No.
Okay. That did not work the way I thought it was going to work.
I know. That's okay. Did it open? Did it open in a new tab on your browser, like your Chrome?
Yes,
So
it did.
does it let you click on that or no?
It let me click on it.
That just doesn't show it to us.
Let me see if I go a different way. Can you see it now?
No.
It's still on your PowerPoint?
Yeah, you may have to like, if it's really important, you may have to like stop the screen share and then start it back for your browser. But if it's, just if you just want to talk us through
I'll
it,
just talk through it then.
virtual office.
So in your resources tab, in the virtual office, there is, if you scroll down a little ways, there are forms. And there are two forms. One has all of this stuff that if I was going to sell it to someone at home on it. And then there's a separate form that says new, although it's like 2 years old. And that new form is actually a form that shows like what schools can purchase. And the school orders are a little bit different than what an individual or family can buy. So make sure you compare those like side by side and see what's the same and what's different. Because the school bundles are really important, especially when you get into the grants, because in a grant situation with Carl Perkins money I'm going to talk about in a minute, I cannot order consumables unless they're in that bundle. So I want that rock wool, I want all that starter stuff in my bundle kit as if I'm ordering this one item rather than all the separates. So they want to order their lights and everything at once. And I say, if you order it this way, you have a year's worth of stuff. But if you order the separates, then you don't. And so the order form is super simple. I opened it up into an Adobe Fill to where then I could put in it my information, my name, my address, my FIN number, all of that, so that then I actually then could use it and email it out real quick. My information's on it. They're less likely to change it, lose it. So that's another good thing there. Also at the very bottom, there are training PowerPoints, and one of them says, build your business with Tower Garden. And I went in there and I thought, okay, so am I doing what the company thinks we should do to sell Tower Gardens? And I was amazed to see I was doing exactly what the company thought we should be doing for Tower Gardens. The next awesome thing there, and are you seeing where it says my website or your website? No, so it's not moving through my PowerPoint at all. Okay.
Maybe is the PowerPoint in full screen? Maybe take it down to not full screen.
Okay, let me try and share this a different way.
You're good.
Can you see it now?
We see your PowerPoint.
Okay, are you on the front page or do you see where it says Virtual Office Resources?
Virtual Office Resources.
Okay, now we might be moving okay. Maybe? No, it won't move. There, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're with me? Okay. So in the Virtual Office Resources, you have individual forms versus school forms. School forms are super simple. It outlines that you need school's PO or credit card number, and then you need their tax exempt form, and you need that form filled out. I simply scan it in and send it to the email on there, and I get a response really quickly. The other thing you want to know that schools need is, in order for schools to pay, usually they need Tower Garden or Juice Plus's W-9. So the first time you sell one to a school, you may want to call in and just say, can I get the Juice Plus W-9? And they need that to set Juice Plus up as a vendor in their system. So Tower Garden simply sent me the W-9 through an email, and now I have that. So anytime I need one for a school, I can simply send that to them, and they already have it set up. You probably need to renew that with Juice Plus about every year, because there's a date on it that changes. But other than that, it's pretty simple. But just a point I wanted to make on that is, if a school says I need Juice Plus's W-9, yes, they probably do. So check out the PowerPoints, check out the resources on the virtual office. Second, your own website, the Tower Garden tab, has a wealth of information, from information about school gardens. Also, you can promote the curriculum. There's a curriculum for schools for every grade level, from preschool clear through high school, of things that you can do with the Tower Garden. There's also the blog tab, and that's another great place to find your resources and so forth. I'm going to see if this will work. Maybe not. Do you see the mission-driven model on your screen? Page? Nope, it's not doing that at all. Okay, so in the mission-driven model information, there is also stuff about Tower Garden. Specifically, there's video on, and it's also, I think, on our website, but about Tim Blank. And you should know about Tim Blank. He worked for Disney, created the Tower Garden, have knowledge of where we came from. Just like the founder of Juice Plus, you should know about the founder and the creator of the Tower Garden. And then Steve Fritz is also a great one to know about. He is Green Machine out of Bronx, New York, and he teaches almost every subject in his grade school classroom through the use of a Tower Garden. And so that's another great resource there. Who are your prospects? Are you seeing that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so who are the prospects? So when I look at prospects, I'm looking at family and consumer science teachers. These are teachers that used to be called our home ec teachers, no longer were family and consumer science teachers. Teachers of culinary. So in my culinary program, we now have 2 towers. We have 1 at each campus. And then we also have 2 in our botany department. So our botany kids are running experiments using the towers, and they can do that indoors without an outside garden, and they take up very little space. So our botany students decided what they were going to try to do on the tower. They've had some success, had some failure. I'm going to tell you quickly about their biggest failure. They had the water timer set to where it was running every other 10 minutes. And they had mold. And so inside, you need to make sure that if your customer is complaining about, well, we have mold or whatever, get them set up right. Inside, you only needed about 2 of those little buttons, which is like 10 to 20 minutes every 2 hours. So we run ours on like the odd hours, 10 to 20 minutes, and that's it, and it's perfectly fine. But the botany students thought that it needed more water. Well, this is not hydroponics, it's aeroponics, so that's important for them to know. We just need to keep the roots damp, not super saturated. Also, then know your grade school standards. So in Kansas, with the next generation science standards, It works well in first grade because they have to know the plant cycle. And then it also works in fifth grade with the food web and where does your food come from. So those are 2 grade levels that I'm marketing to it very heavily in Kansas because of that. And we're trying to get them in every single one of the grade schools in Manhattan, Kansas, which should happen next year. So that could potentially be another 10 towers on my business. So that's kind of things you're looking for. Also, food service directors. Lisa Argetti is one of my new downlines. She just joined us and hasn't really got her feet off the ground, but she has emails of over 20 food service directors that she was at a food service director conference with, and she shared this idea with them because she put one in our school cafeteria. And she shared this with them, and they are super excited. So hopefully we'll get those emails out to those 20 people this next week. So look at food service directors, also like extension agents, 4-H, and then nutritionists in the hospital and home care facilities. This would be great in a nursing home for those elders to be able to garden again and be able to eat what they've produced. And then I was at another conference and I ran into our state level child nutrition services person. And she's actually looking at giving a tower away as a reward for a contest she's running. So getting it out in front of those people as well. So all levels. They're great prospects and they have the money there. So grants is a big thing. People are like, how do I fund this? I don't have the funds. I'm in a small school. So first you want to talk about career and technical education, otherwise known as CTE, and Perkins 5 funds. So Perkins 5 funds says that they're what they're going to use the grant money for has to be new, it has to be innovative, it has to be forward thinking. And so the tower garden is definitely like the future of farming. And so if you present it that way, it falls under Perkins 5, which was actually just reauthorized. It's a federal grant. So career and technical education programs that have pathways would have Perkins 5 funds. There's also a new thing, kind of like blue ribbon schools out there for academics. This is green ribbon schools. And Manhattan, Kansas was actually one of the first districts in the nation, but also the only one in our state so far to be recognized as a national green ribbon school. And there's some grants associated with that as well that I've learned about. And then the newest one I've seen that's huge, they have given up to $100,000 in grants to school districts, and it's called the Farm to School Grant, and it is on the USDA website. It is only open from October to like December 4th last year, and then it'll reopen again October to December. And Manhattan has applied for one of those as well, but they have not received either a denial or acceptance letter, so that could be coming as well. Then also remember, if you are an SSC with Juice Plus, our company wants to get one basically in your name to a Boys and Girls Club. Now, you do not receive any money off of that. But think about the fact that you could put it out there. You could find a way to put your name on the base of it. You could find a way to support that and be another grow and show opportunity. And so if you are at that level and there is a Boys and Girls Club, It was our company's goal 5 years ago. So I don't know maybe it wasn't 5 years ago. I think it was only 3 years ago they started that. So their goal was to within 5 years get one in every boys and girls club through our SSCs. So check out that opportunity. I'm also going to try and put together a list of all the grants I have found, and hopefully I can attach that as a file to our Team Plant Strong page soon. So check that out. When you're writing these grants, some of them are short, a page long, but you want to make sure you're using those buzzwords like green school, sustainability. I say use hydroponics only because more people know about hydroponics than aeroponics, but we really want to focus on that ours is aeroponics. You can even use facts like 90% less water use. So there's your sustainability. Farm to table, farm to school, organic, non-GMO. So make sure you're putting those terms in your grant writing. And then that'll help out whoever you're helping write that grant. So our goal, again, with Juice Plus, here's the 4 things they tell us. So grow one, have one, grow one. Next is show one. So I have a transport video, and I don't think it's going to come up, but I'll get the links on our page so you can look at it. But there's a guy out there that's already created a video on how to transport a tower. So if you empty the bottom of it and the water out of it, he's created a rack out of PVC. And I actually have one myself. My husband helped me create it. It was super simple. In fact, the guy at Home Depot, and I can't share it with you because it's probably not going to work because it's on one of my tabs that I had open. But the transport rack, he has at the end of his video a link to go into a drop box. And it spells out that you need this size PVC piece, and it's all made out of PVC. And you simply lay your whole tower on top of this PVC rack and just slide it into the back. And it would slide into the back of a minivan, truck, SUV. I transported mine from Manhattan to Wichita, which is about 2 hours, without any problem. Got it there, got it set back up, running, got water to it. Now, I also went completely overnight, 10 hours with no water to it. I thought I had killed everything. It was done. It was completely wilted at a show that I was doing, and I was like, this is horrible. Within a couple of hours of water getting to it, and I put extra water to it, it was sprung back up, and by Tuesday, which was 3 or 4 days later, I did a complete harvest, like 4 huge colanders of produce still off of it. I didn't kill it. So it's amazing. It basically, that taking pictures of my failure, people saw that and allowed themselves to realize that, hey, you can't kill this thing. So that's another wonderful piece about this is I have said, you know, you can have a black thumb and not hurt this at all. So take it places, county fairs, CTE conferences, FCCLA conferences, which is the student organization that goes along with Family and Consumer Sciences, FFA, get it in front of Master Gardeners at 4-H or Extension, and then food service worker conferences. Get your name and business information on the base of it when you do that. And so I took and made like a flyer and put it in a picture frame. And then from that, I set that on the base with order forms on the base of my tower, so, and my business card. So I actually parked it unmanned at one of the conferences because my kids were competing. So I needed to coach them, but it was a whole bunch of culinary teachers there. So they gave me place in front of 2 plugins and just let me park it there. All of my flyers were gone. They had my name on them. Now that didn't allow me much follow-up. I could have possibly put maybe a clipboard there with name and information. That's something I might add next time with a pencil attached to it or something. But I still got the papers out there. I was able to talk to some of the coaches and follow up with a few, so hopefully those will come through. So grow one, show one, and then share it. It's suggested that you, at your salad in a jar parties this summer, share your produce right off your tower garden. Allow people to eat it. We shared it in our school cafeteria because I didn't have enough labs to do with it in my culinary classroom at the time. We did our salad lab off of it. We also did our vegetable lab. We worked with kale off of it. And then I didn't have enough to do with it. So we took it down to the school cafeteria. I parked it in the school cafeteria and allowed them to harvest off of it and share it on the salad bar. And so then I had kids coming back like wanting more and more and more. So that was a pretty awesome success there. So if you can get yours to a school cafeteria and they'll allow you to take it in there for a day. If you have a transport rack, it's super easy. And then being able to share intriguing pictures. So the picture I shared was a picture of it in the school cafeteria, and they could tell it was in the school cafeteria. And I shared this on one of my family and consumer science teacher groups. There's over 13,000 people on this group. Within 24 hours, I had over 100 likes, and I had 85 email addresses to follow up with. I was completely overwhelmed, not knowing what I was going to do with 85 email addresses. So I quickly set up a Gmail address using the same address as my Tower Garden website. I just used heidi.towergarden@gmail. That's a thing you might think about, is just duplicating it so it's not hard to remember. And then I set up one that's heidi.juiceplus at Gmail. So those are both easy. That matches my website addresses. And I captured those, and I'm going to show you what I did with them here in just a second, or maybe not. I maybe have to describe it. And then have you thought about using Pinterest? So Pinterest is different than using Facebook or using Instagram, and it is a search engine. So if you put something out there and create good content weekly, just one a week, by the end of the year, you would have 52 posts out there that someone could continue to search. Someone could continue to search. They don't go away. Now, the important part is to make sure you link to your post your web address, so you can connect it to your blog page. If you copy that URL, you can link it to just your Tower Garden page. You can link it to your Juice Plus page. But think about 52 pins, if any of you have used Pinterest, that would still be out there if you just did one a week. Now, to create those, you want the long, narrow ones. And those are easily made if you go to Canva and make them in Canva and then just upload them. So that's like a simple trick there. So Pinterest stays alive, where Juice Plus, you post something, Facebook, you post something in a week, it's gone. So you're constantly creating. But if you created one a week, you would have 52 different things floating out there. But make sure you connect them to your website. Connect them somewhere so someone can get something off of it. The next part is sell one. So set goals to sell it now at the beginning of the summer. Individuals may not like the high price of lights. They could come back and buy their lights, but if they buy their lights now, they could finance them on 12 months payments. So, kind of encourage them to think about, do I still want to use this inside? Do I have space for it inside during the winter? And then think about selling them in the winter. And then for schools, I always encourage them to buy them with the lights, because then they're going to get use out of them all year, where if they don't buy them with lights, it's no different than having a plot outside. You can't use it very long. And with school, the reason this is better than an outside plot, if I plant something in August when school starts, I have till October and then I'm done and I don't get much out of it. If I have my kids plant a tower, they can eat off of it till January, December. Teacher could change it out and restart it in January and have food all the way through May. Or they could restart it right before Christmas break and let it go Christmas break. The nice thing is I like to make it seem like it's no work. One, we left it all of spring break without any maintenance to it, without anybody paying attention to it. Super easy. So teachers don't want something else to take care of. I can fill mine once a month, as long as it doesn't get below the top of that pump. Indoors, I can fill it once a month back up to the top level, add my minerals, and all I do weekly is just test the pH to make sure we're still in the right range. But otherwise, I do nothing to it for a whole month other than eat off of it, trim it up, things like that, and then let it go down the water, refill it, and I'm good for another month. So I promote the fill once a month, eat often. Then last thing, I created an email. This probably isn't going to work out, but I created an awesome email to send to those 85 people that I have email addresses of. And then I created a Google form, and in an email, I sent them a Google form. That Google form asked them their name, whether they are school or food service, if they currently have a tower garden, how many tower gardens they would like to have, and put a date on it. What date would you like to buy these tower gardens? And then another question I asked is, I started a tower garden group specifically for my customers or for tower garden customers as a tower garden share community. And I asked them if they had joined the group or they were going to join the group right away after signing up, or after reading this email, or I gave them 3 options, or I'm not interested. And then the next thing I said was, are you interested in making financial gains through Tower Garden? And I put as a response, yes, sign me up now. No, I'm not interested in the financial opportunity, or maybe I'm considering it. So put things in their head to where they're like, whoa, I could make money off of this. And then I think I had 2 more things. One was, do you have anybody else I should be sharing this with? And so that's gained me about 5 extra email addresses to send to. And then the last thing was, any comments or things I should know about what you're working on. And I missed a question in there. I also asked about grants. Do you need help with grants? Yes, no, or maybe. And so the awesome thing about using a Google form is it will put all that in a spreadsheet. And since it will put it all in a spreadsheet, you can then sort by any of those columns. So I can sort it by date and bring to the top all of my Mays, and I have 6 possible tower sales for May right now. And then I have another 11 to 12 in August and September. So I'm really looking forward to You know, I'm going to have probably a drought over the summer, but that's the way the school district and money is going to work. So whatever questions you have, I can take those now, or like I said, I have Tower Garden, Heidi.towergarden@gmail or Heidi.juiceplus@gmail are easy ways to get a hold of me.
Hey Heidi, if you stop your screen share and you have that email up in the on a different screen, you can stop your screen share and then start a new screen share and pick that so you can show us, and you can do the same thing with that video because I kind of want to see it. So kind of
which video?
The loading.
Oh, okay. So let me
stop. Yeah.
Share. And then I think I gotta drop you down. Close that. And so if I
So if you, when you're not sharing your screen, you can stop share. When you stop sharing, then you can go find what you want and open it and have it as an open tab.
Okay.
And
they're
then,
all open on my screen, so that's why it's weird.
So click the one that you want to show before you start the screen share.
Okay, let me go back up because I don't have that. I don't think I have the loading video open, so let me find it. Okay. So now let's see if I can share it. Got this. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is actually his on YouTube, and it's 3 minutes long.
Does he have volume on the video or no?
Yeah.
That's okay. We can still see it, but.
That's the rack. And one end of it is shorter than the other. It's all made of PVC. And he's going to put it between the rack there, but he's going to find the place with the least vegetation. And that's what he's telling you right now, that one end is taller, that goes at the top to keep it at an angle. And then he's going to find the least vegetation. And he's got this on a short one. I've put it on a tall one with 7 layers, because that's what the school bundles come with. He took the water already out of the bottom of it. And the pump's already disconnected. And so it really is pretty much that easy to load it in there. And that's in the back of an SUV. I can, in the back of my SUV, get one that's 7 layers tall with the extension. A minivan would work, or a truck that maybe you're not going so far with. His roots are still sticking out the bottom, whatever, it's all good. And then you just have to load your other things. So then he, and this is something I tried doing, you need a little bit bigger bucket than that. So instead of filling the whole bottom of that base with water, he's only filling a bucket and putting his pump in a bucket. So that way you don't have to fill that whole basin up. And he kept some of his water. Now I've just used regular water for a while wherever I'm at, and that works too, so I didn't have to travel with all of that water. But he's just putting it in a bucket to make that amount that his pump needs smaller. So his video even says use a bigger bucket because it won't have enough room to circulate. It won't have enough water to circulate it. So taller, bigger around. Also, so it has more space to catch the water out of the bottom of there.
Is that just so you don't have to fill that whole big thing with water?
Yeah, it's just so you don't have to fill the whole thing while you're at a show for a day. Because you don't want it without a water for a whole day outside, obviously. So you need some water to it. And that rack's super simple to make. In fact, I didn't have to, and he has a Dropbox link there. And I'm going to stop share, and I'm going to show you that here in just a second. I have it open. Oops, we don't want that junk. Where do I have it? So this is his tower garden. Can you see my screen still?
No, you have to stop share and then pick it, or then start share again and pick it.
Where can... Oh, crud. Okay, back to you. I'm gonna have to stop share.
Betty says, do you have to use that with the plant support frame? Oh, like you mean the tomato cage?
No, you can use it without it. It will work perfectly.
Because it just supports the tube, not necessarily the...
Right, it supports just the tube, not the frame. I have the video. Oh, there's my instructions. Okay, let me get this open on my screen, and then I'll share this with you. So I'm going to share what I currently have open. I'm getting a hang of this. The next one I do will be much better. So he has this in his Dropbox after you watch that video. So there's a picture of the transport rack, and then this actually tells you what joints you need. Now, I did not go buy the PVC cutter or the hacksaw. The nice guy at Home Depot, I had this on my phone, and the nice guy at Home Depot cut me the lengths I needed. So he cut me a piece to 16. And then I think you need 2 pieces at 16. No.
1.
1. And then you need 2 pieces at 7 and a quarter inches, and you actually need 4 of those. And I'll show you why. Like, all of this has to be doubled except for where you cut 2 of the 14s. It's 14 on this side, but then it's 17 on this side. So remember, one side was taller. So this 16 goes here, and then the 16 goes here, and then there's 25 and a half that goes the height of it when it's sitting up against it. So then there's your final assembly of it. So, but it's a pretty easy to follow list because you need six of these single pieces, these 1-inch pieces, and those go like right here and right here and right here to hook those together in your joints that are curved or angled. And it actually tells you all those little angled joints you need, because you need 8 of the 45s, and then you need these it comes out 3 ways. Those are your corners down here, and then you've got these corners that go here. So he's got all the assembly instructions, and then the only other thing you need is this PVC glue. And it's not real expensive, but you got to buy more than you need. But my husband helped me then glue it all together, but I probably could have managed to do it by myself, but he had a little bit of experience with it, so he lended a hand. And since the nice guy at Home Depot had already cut it to the right lengths, it was super simple. And you can do all of this for probably about 25 bucks. But $25 and then you're able to show it anywhere is, I think, pretty awesome. So the next thing, now that I'm a little better at this sharing thing, I'm going to open up real quick
Your email?
You wanted to see my survey?
No, just the email. I know it's survey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just the email.
So,
you can probably put a link to the survey on our team page.
yeah, I probably can. So
Yeah.
this, now that I'm good with this.
You can actually even copy your survey, and so that people don't fill it out and just give us a copy, you know,
Right.
a copy of it.
So this is actually the flyer that I used on my tower when it was unmanned. So it just has things that I stole straight off the our web page. It's nothing that can't be shared. I completely just copied and pasted this, and then I put my information at the bottom of it, and that was in a frame. And then this was my letter, and I just said, talked about, and so when I sent out the email, I attached this at the top, and then I put this email there, and I talked about how we were using it in our school kitchen's using it, our botany classes are using them. Talked about their USDA farm to table grant approved, their Perkins funding approved, aeroponic growing, 90% less water than traditional growing. And then I went into, so now the big question, I want you all to know how to buy one. So I went down through all of that, and then I actually attached to this, and I think I said somewhere in there, yes, I have attached the school order form for your convenience. So that's where I had it as a separate attachment at the bottom, that then they could just pull that off and send it back to me. So I was trying to make it as simple as possible.
Awesome. I love that. That's amazing.
Any other questions I can answer? Otherwise, I know, Betty, we've been picking each other's brain back and forth and sharing things. So I'm excited for you to get started with this and going. Find your kid's school district. See if you can share it with their school cafeteria. See if your kids are involved in 4-H. If you can set up a booth there or an unmanned tower there. You wouldn't necessarily have to be there full time if you can get your name and information on it and draw some interest. I was able to park it and do double duty at my conference in Wichita. I was at a Pro Start competition, which is through the Kansas the Kansas Restaurant Association, and they have Pro Start pretty much nationwide. So I was there, and so I set it up there, and then went to a teacher and extension agent conference for 2 days, set it up there. So I made double duty out of that week-long trip and shared it for basically 5 days straight. So I know all of that has not come through yet, but working with grants and schools takes a little bit more time, but it's gaining momentum and it's starting to move. So just being able to share it in any way you can.
So Jen wants to know, how do you present it to the school? Do you go to the teachers, principal, PTO, especially if you're not a teacher? Because A lot of us are not.
I have somewhat of an in because I am a teacher. But see if you can get with your school food service directors, and see if you can start there. Like, would they be interested in, or share the produce off of it with them?
How do you find who those people are?
Do what?
How would you find out who those people are, or if they have
websites? Find their names for sure. And then if your kids are in school, that would be an easy way as well. Neighbors. I know I'm making this seem like it seems easy to me, but I'm in the system. But those are the people you want to look for. If you have friends that are ag teachers, or some way, find a way into the CTE conferences. See if your state has a conference. If you need help with that, I can probably look up like some of the CTE conferences if you're really interested in presenting at a conference or setting up a vendor table. At one of the conferences, my vendor table was $25, and I set it up with Juice Plus and then the tower park next to it. So for $25, that's not a bad investment. But school teachers.
So you would say going to the teachers, like either finding like the culinary or botany teachers, or going to the food service versus like a principal.
Start there. Get your teacher interested, and then they're going to help work that principal.
Yeah, they're the ones that are going to have to take care of it.
If they're excited about it, then they'll get their principal excited about it, and they'll help find a way.
Yeah. Trisha said she went to her PTO, but she's on the PTO. So
right. Yeah, if you're on the PTO, it's easier as well.
Yeah.
But then when you get them sharing that, have them not park it in the classroom or during parent-teacher conferences and stuff. Can they pull it out? Can they park it out front? Can they put your name on it?
You can even laminate a sign and tape it to the top, to the white part of the base.
Yeah. So
if you don't have a
figure out how to get your name on it, your business card on it, something on it that draws it back to you.
Yeah, Betty was asking about the mold, the length of time you run the water inside. She thought it was 15 minutes each hour, but are you saying 10 to 20 every 2 hours?
Every 2 hours is keeping my rock wool moist, and I'm not getting mold and I'm not getting drought. We also have found that your plants, since I'm in a school setting, my classroom lights are on too. So consider that a light source. So we found that the plants need a nighttime, because that's when they do some of their moving of their photosynthesis and stuff that we've seen through research. And so I run my lights from like 3 o'clock when school gets out till 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And so that's like 7 hours plus what they got from my classroom lights being on.
Yeah, so you're not blasting the lights during class.
Right. Now, if I want to draw attention to it, I have the override.
Yeah.
And I can hit the override during my culinary class and have the lights on, So that's always an option to hit the override. I also have, if I'm running a movie and the water starts to come on, I just unplug. I leave the timer plugged into the wall so that it still knows what time it is, but I unplug the water pump from the bottom of the timer. And in fact, one of our towers is on odd hours, and it's not getting water at 9 a.m. and at 1 p.m. because the other teacher in that classroom does not want the water running and her kids having to go to the bathroom all the time, and she thinks it makes them go to the bathroom. So it's only getting water at like 7 a.m. right before school starts, again at 11 during lunch hour, and then at 3, and it's still growing like crazy. So I just think you got to keep your rock wool damp and your roots damp. But again, you got to trust the aeroponics system. But the classroom, the botany kids that had it on like every other one of the little buttons in, out, so every other 10 minutes of the day, they were getting mold and they were getting overwatered and their plants were just like breaking off. And I was like, oh no. So I had another teacher say on my, when I posted about the lunchroom tower, I had another teacher on there say, well, our classes are getting mold. And I'm like, oh, I bet they're overwatering like our botany class was. And she goes, oh, I'll check on that. So kind of paying attention and guiding your customers through how to set one up properly so they don't overwater and so forth. Just being that ultimate like customer care.